The national awards were handed out on Thursday in New Delhi, but the ceremony was marred by anger among scores of winners about not receiving the honour from the president himself. But the twist in the tale is that the president's office claiming that the INB ministry was informed weeks in advance that this will be the schedule of the event. Even though the president's office has remained silent over the recipients' boycott of the film award ceremony, press secretary to the president Ashok Malik has made it amply clear that the INB ministry was aware of the president's schedule weeks in advance. Now, in an interview to a News Daily, Malik has said, and I quote, "I have already said earlier that the ministry was informed well in advance that the president would not spend more than an hour, and this has been the case from the beginning of this presidency and has been conveyed to all ministries, institutions, etc." Now, INB ministry was informed several weeks ago, unquote. Now, the big question now is that if the INB ministry had been aware that the president would only give a few awards, why was this not shared with the winners? Now, it is surprising that the ministry had informed the winners a day before the official award ceremony when 80 recipients decided to boycott the ceremony. Many of the awardees felt that this had created a sort of a hierarchy in the awards and was contrary to what was said in their invitations. All right, now for more on this, we are joined in by our political affairs editor, Kartikeya Sharma. Kartikeya, good afternoon to you. This is a controversy that refuses to die down. But why was this not communicated to the awardees that not all awards will be given away by the president?
You know, I think that's the most the curious aspect, and for simple reason that a lot of awardees wanted the award only from the President of India. And the office of the President of India had already informed that he will not be available for more than an hour. And for this to happen, I would say that there was a lot of things lost in communication. But the fact of the matter is that the office of the President is pretty upset that this matter could not be handled. And my sources in the President House confirm that not only they are upset, they feel that it should have been handled far more carefully because it impinged on the image of the President of India. So I don't know whether that displeasure has been conveyed to the concerned authorities, but my sources have confirmed to me that the office of the President of India is not happy with the way ceremony went ahead.
All right, it's interesting that you say, you know, that the office of the president is not happy in the manner in which the ceremony has actually gone on. But the president would have been aware that he was there only for an hour and only a few of the awards would be given out by him. So was he not expecting a sort of a backlash in this manner?
I would say that my sources told me that this was communicated to the ministry, INB ministry, weeks ago that he will not be there for more than an hour. Now, my sense is that the President's Secretariat expected that this could have been conveyed by the respective authorities to the awardees that this is the new situation, and I think this was not something which the office of the President of the Republic expected. Right. So, in this case. I would say that the sudden development which took place in 48 hours took the President's office by complete surprise. And please understand, controversies when it comes to constitutional offices, the protocol is should be avoided, have to be avoided because President of India is commander of our forces. He represents the Republic. So I think that way the mismanagement was there and this displeasure has become now part of public narrative for simple reason. My sources told me there that they did not expect this, and yes, there is great disquiet in the President's Secretariat over it.
Absolutely. Do continue to stay on with us. Meanwhile, my colleague Akansha Swarup is also joining us from the newsroom. Good afternoon to you, Akansha. This was a controversy which perhaps could have been done without, but this was a controversy that perhaps the government seems to have invited in the manner in which they've gone ahead with the giving away of the awards.
Absolutely, Mohammed. You know, now that the INB ministry actually is, it's in a spot because clearly the press secretary to the president, Mr. Malik, has already commented, and he said that 2 days ago also, and now he's also confirmed to our political editor, Mr. Kartikeya Sharma, as he aptly mentioned, that the president's office is extremely miffed with the behavior of the INB ministry, and that actually goes on to speak volumes of the INB ministry, because let's not forget that the recipients of the national awards had alleged breach of trust, because the big question remains that if they were aware, if the INB ministry was aware of the president's schedule weeks in advance, why was it not communicated to the recipients? And the fact remains that they were actually communicated on Wednesday, on the day of rehearsal, just a day before the ceremony actually took place on Thursday. And that is why the recipients actually alleged breach of trust and also a certain hierarchy, because the president chose to award only 11 recipients, including the late actors Vinod Khanna and Sri Devi.
Absolutely.
And also, if Kartikeya is with us online, I would like to pose a question to Mr. Sharma. Kartikeya, it's very important to ask, why hasn't there been a statement from the President's office? Because the press secretary was quick to communicate that the INB ministry was informed about it, but why this sort of silence over the fact that 80 recipients, that's a lot, boycotted the ceremony?
See, two things are there. Mr. Malik is on record. So what is on record, I will not get into it. That's there. But I'm talking about my sources in the Secretariat of the President. And I will not like to name them. And the sources have confirmed here that this sort of a mismanagement, which involved the President of India, should not have happened. And this displeasure was there for everyone to actually see and feel. See, the reason why the President's Secretariat or the President is not reacting to it, because they're keeping the dignity of office intact. If President of India chides a serving minister, I don't think that's part of the protocol. I don't think that's correct. That is not within his remit. That is within the remit of the Prime Minister. The President has to say something. It is between the Prime Minister and the President. Those are the conventions. Those are the protocols. So I think President has done the right thing by not speaking on it, by not talking about it, or his office not being public about it. But the fact of the matter is that it is not as if that they're happy about it also. And my sources have confirmed that they were taken aback by this controversy at the last minute.
All right, so the President's office is taken aback by the controversy. But Kartikeya, very quickly, just before I let you go, what is the INB ministry now saying? Because they must have expected some sort of a backlash, considering that there was a clear break from the tradition and the norm in terms of how the awards were being given away.
See, I'm not, I will not I'll not point fingers at any authority for the reason that the controversy took place. Whether they were informed or not is not part of the public narrative. But it is being felt by the sources in the President's office that it could have been avoided. Now, why couldn't that happen? Where was the communication gap? Is something which the ministry will have to explain.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, both to Kartikeya Sharma and also to Akansha Swaroop for joining us on this broadcast. This was a controversy that perhaps the government could have done without, where 80 of the artists who were being given away the awards decided to boycott.